What is up, everybody? The biggest question I get asked when it comes to the tattoos on my body are about my face tattoos, my hand tattoos, or my finger tattoos, just because it's the ones that are seen the most. So I wanted to make a video on that. If you're thinking about getting your hands tattooed or your face tattooed, please watch this video before doing any of those things. If you're new to this channel, I'm Brandon from Tattooing 101, and make sure you like and subscribe down below so I know the content that you guys are liking and I can make more content like that for you guys to help you out. So let's get into it. Now, say you're thinking about getting a face tattoo or a hand tattoo. The couple of things that you want to think about 100% before jumping into something like that is the job that you have. Number one, you need to be able to make a living. You know, if you're working a regular job and being a tattoo artist on the side, things like that could greatly destroy your life in the future. You know, they are starting to be more lenient with tattoos, but with face tattoos, it's still a big game changer. You're not going to get a lot of jobs if you have face tattoos or even hand tattoos nowadays. So definitely think about what you're doing. Another thing is with your job is what you have to do for your job. If you're working as a mechanic or working with disgusting material, things like that, it could really destroy the tattoo that you're getting. So if you are going to get a hand tattoo, make sure you call off a week or two of work when you go to do it, or it's just going to heal up very terrible and it's not going to work out. Even with me, I wear gloves all the time. So I had to take some time off when I got my hand tattooed because I actually did this one forever ago, wore gloves and destroyed it. So I ended up having to get my hand covered up and stuff like that. So think about this. These are the very important things you need to think about before even getting any tattoo. Next would be think about what you're getting and if you actually want to have that for the rest of your life. I'm 32 years old right now and I have changed a ton in the last 10, 20 years. So what I got whenever I was 23, you know, I got this diamond. It's very meaningful. I got it for my daughter, but at the same time, at this point in my life, I really wish that I didn't get any face tattoos. And the other reasons after this will be why that is. People grow through life. That's a big part of being on this planet, is growing yourself, growing people around you, things like that. So I wish I would have thought about that in the past, is what I got tattooed, and, you know, especially what I got tattooed on my face. I do have cursed tattooed right here. Not necessarily the best thing that I would probably have picked nowadays in life, just because that's a very negative thing that I got tattooed on my face. So definitely think about the things you're getting and think about it way longer than you think. So say you wake up one day and you're like, I'm going to get my face tattooed. I want to get a paw print right here or something for, you know, my dogs, something like that. And you didn't really think about it. You went and just got it done. And then, you know, in 10 years, this very small paw print turns into a black dot. And then you have a black dot on your face for the rest of your life. All those things will greatly change your pathway of life. So think about what you're getting, think about where you're getting it, and make sure it's going to be something that you like in the future, which is pretty much impossible to know where you're going to be in 10 years. The next one, and the one that hits home the most, is probably the fact that people are going to look at you differently. No matter what, it's just an instinctual thing for human beings to do that. I try my best not to be that way, but not everyone's the same way. So I definitely do realize that when I'm out in public, people do look at me differently. They'll think that, you know, I'm possibly a criminal. And, you know, if I'm even out when I'm with my daughter, I'll go to the zoo or something like that. People will like hold their kids close whenever I'm walking around them, or like if they're at the grocery store, you know, they'll go up to their cart because they left their purse in it, stuff like that. That my daughter's getting old enough to where she could start to notice these things and starting to ask. And I just have to let her know that, you know, I do look different. You know, not a ton of people out there have face tattoos, so it's just brand new, and that they don't mean any harm by it. They're just stuck in their ways. And I'm sure that through time, they might change their views or not, but that's not our place to do. So it doesn't necessarily hurt me. I really don't care what people think, but when my daughter comes up to me asking questions about it, it definitely hits home a little bit more, and that's not something that I ever would have thought, you know, 10 years ago when I got them. So think about your future, think about your kids too. So, you know, having things like this is definitely weird to talk about with children, just because they don't see a ton of people with face tattoos either. And even kids will look at you crazy because you have tattoos on your face, which shouldn't really matter. If it's something you want to do, then by all means, it's your body, do it. But definitely think about it and think about the repercussions in 20, 30 years down the line. And on top of that, I'm not saying that this is for every official out there or anything even remotely close to that. but you're probably going to get looked at or pulled over more than someone without face tattoos. That being said, I'm not saying that for everyone out there, but with my experience personally, I get pulled over more than any one of my friends that don't have face tattoos. I'm not saying I get pulled over all the time, but the few times that I have was definitely weird because I wasn't doing anything wrong and they were just stopping to check up on things. So one time I was waiting for someone that I got something on Facebook Marketplace, and I was waiting in the parking lot, and I guess I was looking sketchy. They pulled up and asked what I was doing, and was super weird. I was really off-put by it because I really wasn't doing anything wrong, and it was just super awkward. And I'm guessing that if someone was just sitting there without face tattoos, it probably wouldn't have happened. I don't really know, obviously, but that's just a personal feeling of mine. And then the worst time I ever got pulled over is I was dropping a friend off for a traffic violation ticket, and I was actually waiting outside waiting for him to come out, and I just parked at the police station because the courthouse was right beside it, so there was a parking lot. And I sat there for like 2 hours, started to get hungry, and I was like, man, I don't know when he's going to come out. Obviously, you can't have phones in a courthouse, so I just waited there forever. And then finally, I was like, I'm going to go get some food. I pulled out. Immediately when I pulled out, lights in my rear view mirror. And I was like, okay, this is weird. So I pulled over, talked to the police officer, and I was like, oh, I'm just waiting for blah, 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 my friend to come out of court. And he was like, okay, do you have anything illegal in the car, stuff like that? And I was like, absolutely not. I'm just going to get food, waiting for him. You know, this is the parking lot. Is that okay if I park here? He was like, oh yeah, that's absolutely fine. No problem at all. But can I search your car? And I was like, I'm really hungry right now. That's the reason I left. I was kind of waiting for him so we could get food together. But, you know, if there's no other way around this, then absolutely you can look through my car real quick. But I am trying to do that and get back because I have his phone and he doesn't know I'm leaving. But it was a super awkward situation for me. And another thing, I'm sure that wouldn't have happened if I was wearing a suit or, you know, didn't have face tattoos, things like that. So you will be marked a little bit differently when it comes to those sides. And like I said, I'm not saying that all police officers or all people in that sort of system are like that. You know, I've never gotten in trouble. I've never had a issue with anything beyond just that. But you got to think you are going to be looked at a little bit differently. But if you're okay with that, so the last question I get asked all of the time is if I could go back in time, would I take away my tattoos on my face, hands, things like that. So at this point in my life, I probably would take away all the face tattoos. I wouldn't have any on my face, maybe one, but I would honestly just like a redo. There's a lot of ones on my face that I really don't care about, you know, like the cursed one. I'd probably just go without face tattoos. My hands are fine. They really don't affect me too much. They're getting a lot more popular and people are starting to accept them a lot more, but face tattoos are still a super crazy thing for some people. So I'd probably just stay away from that. And that's not only because of what other people think, but where I'm at in my life right now, you know, there's really no point for them for me personally. So I wish I never would have got them to begin with. So these are the things that I definitely recommend you think about and really mentally process before jumping into a decision like that, because it can affect you for the rest of your life. Now, if you still want to do it and you still want to jump into it, if you have the job for it and, you know, all of those things don't affect you at all, then by all means, it's your body, go for it. But definitely think about it and take it from me. If you want to tattoo your face, I probably just wouldn't. As always, thank you guys for watching and have a wonderful day.